Welcome traders to another episode on Prophecy Trades. Today's video we are going to cover four currency pairs: Euro GBP, NZD CAD, GBP JPY, and Euro CAD. So, if you want to know more on what happened in the previous video, go ahead, click the link above right now. So, we have Euro GBP. We were still waiting for a optimal take profit. We've been in this trade for about just over a day now. We entered this trade roughly around Tuesday, around 8 a.m. New York session, and price consolidated for most of the day. And we saw a strong bullish engulfing candle around closer to just approaching the pre-London open, roughly around 1 o'clock. So we had an hour before that. There was a huge engulfing candle. Price came up. At this time, I was away from my desk and I came back and I saw that price is now retracing. And essentially, price right now is just filling in this gap. It's this inefficiency imbalance in the market. And I have a strong bias that price will just fill this, respect this zone, and then continue to the upside. And we also, if we draw our trend lines from here based on the hour chart, I see price retracing just as deep as here before respecting and coming back up. If we pull out our fibs, just for another strong bias confirmation, if we do it from this low to this low, we're at the 61.8, or if you want to pull it from this swing low, we're still where the body is respecting that 61.8. So again, this is one of the strongest Fibonacci respected zones, which is the golden zone, and we are very confident that price will continue to the upside. I do see myself potentially taking a partial. I did see a variation of a form of resistance. Let me back up and let me put my other fibs back on. If we look at this new fib, you can see that the minus 27 is right here and the minus 61.8 is here. So hypothetically, if this was a scaling entry, I would be targeting around this area here because this is the move that's completed, which is that minus 27 and that minus 61.8. And one second. And for me, I'm looking at this minus 27 now, and I also see we have a 4-hour trend line respected multiple times here, and I'm going to show you that once I jump up to the higher time frame. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to jump up to the higher time frame so I can show you what I'm seeing. As we see that price then came up, respected this trend line time and time again, and failed with a lot of exhaustion before reversing. So for me, this might be a 75% partial at this previous high. Let the rest run, and then take out additional 50% of what's remaining and just let the rest run, and moving steps to break even once we hit this previous high. So that's the status on this trade right now. We are still in profit, not as much as we were in the London session. We are still comfortable sitting on our hands, and we are open to what the market plays out. And again, this is only risking 1%. So once again, risk management is key to be successful in this game. So moving on to NZD CAD, we actually have a trade that we're currently still in. We've been kind of ranging on the hour chart, and we got in. We had a great optimal entry. If you're looking for more details and you want to know more of how we executed and got into this trade, please click the link above right now. So you can see price came up, and then it had a slight retracement, and then still a nice bullish market structure, trying to print and eventually implement those new higher highs and higher lows. But we can also see that price is now retracing and coming back all the way to our entry about 9 a.m. and we are now back in profit just slightly. And if we pull the fibs from this swing low to this swing high, we can see once again price is respecting that 61.8. So it's another strong confirmation that this is a still bullish confirmation that price is going to be going in the direction that we planned on from yesterday. And also too, we also have this trend line that we drew from this, starting from these wicks, this wick tapped the bottom of this wick, and then price came back down, respected this beautifully, giving me another confluence that price will then continue to the upside. So there's a status on that. And again, let's go back. If this trade is correct, this is about 3.5% gain. And then jumping back to Euro GBP, this could be anywhere from another 4.5%. So with that being said, that's about 8%. And now we are moving on to GBP JPY. This trade was actually executed this morning. I believe that it was right before the New York Open. I think it was like 6:45. We were already looking at the charts, and this was straight into profit for the most part. And I will tell you how I got into this trade and what happened. So basically, I started on the daily time frame. I drew my trend line on the daily chart. I wanted to identify some areas where price could potentially give me a strong form of support. And then I also drew my trend lines here, seeing any type of previous resistance. And once there's resistance, it'll start as, in this case, act as resistance and then turn into potential support. So for me, I wanted to identify this region here. I then later jumped down to the 4-hour time frame, and I also drew my trend line again from this tip of the wick to this tip of the body here. After this candle had already closed, it was already more than a handful of hours once this candle was drawn. So I had a strong confirmation that price could potentially come up and respect this area, and I will dive in deeper of like why I'm targeting this previous high and why not the minus 27 versus the minus 61.8. So we have this being respected here and here, giving me that bias there. And then I actually jumped down to the hour chart. I like to start on the hour chart as far as like my main time frame, because once again, we're just trying to be in and out of the market. We're not trying to hold these trades for months or weeks. We're just trying to be in these trades for a day or even a couple of days at the most and be in and out. That's it. So I ended up drawing my trend line from here, here, through here, through here. And this, for me, this was giving me another form of support. And I also then ended up later drawing my fibs, and I will delete it and restart and show you drawing my fibs from the tip of the wicks to this tip of the wick. So from here to here. And you can see that price drove all the way down to the 88.6. This is a very deep retracement. Don't really like to see it come down this deep, but I did have enough confluence for me to still take a high probability entry. I later on then pulled out my fibs again to identify a fib trick, which is the move being completed within the move. So I took it from this swing high to this swing low. And as you can see, the minus 27, the minus 61 is within this blue box here. Price completes the move. So we have an 88.6 respected zone. We have a fib trick completed zone. And we also have a trend line. So for me, I have 3 confluences there. And then for me, I'm looking for 1 or 2 more before I can find a proper entry. So I jumped onto the 15-minute. I'm sorry, the 30-minute. Then I jumped onto the 15-minute. And then I also saw a variation of a double bottom. And this was it right here. It's not exactly flush, but for me, that is a double bottom. And then the 5th and final confirmation I did see a slight indecision candle, and I believe I went down to the 5-minute, and I waited for there was actually a market structure shift. You can see how there's a prices printing like these lower lows and lower highs, and there's a shift in the market here, and then price then engulfed. I could have entered, when did I enter? It was like 6:45. So I entered in here, but the spread put me up here. So this was the actual optimal entry. So we had probably close to 6 confluences, and this is why we were actually in this long. And once again, let's now jump down to our stop loss. And let me jump up to the hour chart for clarity. So we see that price respects the 88.6. So the next Fibonacci level would be the one below here. For me, I don't like risking more than 30 pips. This is roughly just shy of 30 pips. So I just put it just outside the Fibonacci fib trick box. Yes, a little bit riskier of a trade, but I was pretty confident in the confluence that I had, and I saw enough price action. And remember, down on the 15-minute, 5-minute chart, we did see that market structure shift here. So for me, there's no reason for price to come back down to this level. Price has already shifted and changed its mind to the upside. So for me, I'm targeting this previous high. Why? Because we have this daily and 4-hour trend line here, where price will potentially come up, struggle. I'm hoping price can come up, just barely tap it, maybe wick it, and then come out and get me out of the trade. If I do see signs of struggle at this trend line, I will end up closing this trade. That would probably bring me closer to maybe a 1 to 3.5. Still a great risk to reward. I'm looking to target that 1 to 4. So if this is successful, this is about 4% gain. And you can see how I'm in these trades time and time again. I'm only risking 1%, but week after week, those 1% add up to 5%, 7%, 10%. And that's even counting losses, break evens, partials. Small wins add up to large compound success in trading. So don't want to go too far on a tangent on that, but if you're liking that, I can be more than happy to dive into those concepts. Just leave a comment. So, but now let's move on to EuroCAD. And we are actually not in this trade right now, but this definitely is on my watch list for my market movers. And I'm going to jump up to the daily time frame so you can see what I saw. I see a daily trend line being tapped once, twice, and now this is potentially the third time. But this candle is still live. It had not closed. We have about 5 hours and 35 minutes before this candle close. I want to see this candle give me like an indecision. I want price to kind of drive back up slightly, show me like a doji, and even better if it can close even bullish. So there's that. And then we also have a fib trick. We saw that price came all the way up here to this 1.646 level, drove price down, and price came into our completed Fibonacci fib trick box, minus 27 right there, and that minus 61.8. So as you can see, price right now on the forward chart is printing those indecision candles. I'm looking for price to come slightly back up within this box to respect within that trend line, and it's almost perfect right now. So we have another hour and a half to see what price does, and we're then going to go down to the the 1 hour. And basically what I want to see happen here is basically I want to see indecision candles. I want to see price kind of start printing like this. So for me, I want more of a clear indication of a market structure shift. I want to see price show me that it broke this previous lower high. In this case, it's technically the range of consolidation. And when price tends to consolidate, what happens? Price tends to rally in a certain direction. The question is, which direction? Are we going to the downside or are we going to the upside? For our bias, we need to see this like higher high, higher low structure being printed, and we want to break out of this ranging area here for that more of like a market structure shift here. So if this does happen, we are ready for an execution of a trade entry. We would be entering around this realm. And let me zoom out a little bit here. And we would probably put our stops at this low of this wick. And then I'll probably check my Fibonacci to see how far I want to target this upward. So I'm probably going to go to the 4-hour for this because might be a very large swing actually. I really don't like being in these type of trades for too long, so I might just target the previous high because I might end up being in this trade for a number of days that I'm really not used to my trading style. So for me, even here, just targeting this previous high, this is almost a 1 to 5. If I want to do a little bit tighter of a stop loss, so it's respecting that 78.6 potentially. You could do it here, or you could do it outside of the fib trick. You could do it just outside of this wick because it wicked. For me, I'll probably just get it just close to a 1 to 5, and I will probably take majority of my take profit here and let the remaining hypothetically 25% run on giving us the 1 to 7 all the way up to potentially a 1 to almost a 1 to 10. This is a 1 to 9.5, and moving my stops to break even. And I might even trail my stops on the way up, considering this might take more than 2, 3, 4 days to complete this. So, but like I said, we just trade what we see, and we analyze based on technical analysis purely. But long story short, if you guys are liking these videos, press the like button and subscribe. Thank you.